Imagine a world where there's absolutely no way to share pictures with your friends or family. The only way to show them what you saw is to bring them with you and show them what you saw. The world used to be that way until George Eastman made it better. George Eastman was born in Waterville, New York in 1854 on July 12th. In 1860, his family moved here to Rochester, New York. The Eastmans moved to Rochester so that George's father, George Washington Eastman, could establish the Eastman Commercial College. But when George was only 8 years old, his father died on May 2nd, 1862, causing for the college to fail and the family to become financially distressed. At the age of 14, Eastman quit high school to support his mother and sister as a messenger boy for an insurance company, earning $3 per week. He eventually went to a different insurance company, where he made $5 per week and was soon in charge of filing and writing policies. He was ambitious, studying accounting at night and hoping to get a better paying job. By 1874, he was working at a bank and earning $15 per week. He was 24 when he first developed an interest in photography. He planned a vacation trip to Santo Domingo and decided that he would take photos on his trip, although the gear required to take photographs was very complicated. The camera was as big as a microwave and needed a heavy tripod. He also needed a tent in which to make and apply the emulsions for the glass plates, a heavy plate holder, glass tanks, and a jug of water. The complete outfit was, as he described it, a pack horse load. In addition, he had to take lessons at a cost of $5 to learn how to use all the gear for the picture taking. He ended up not going to Santo Domingo, but he continued to be fascinated with photography. Even as he continued to work in the bank, he began what would become his life's work, exploring new and simpler ways to make photographs. George Eastman was determined to make taking photographs much easier. He spent 3 years experimenting with gelatin emulsions of his own design based on British formulas until he found a solution that worked. By 1880, he developed and patented a machine that would prepare the plates in greater numbers than previously before. He decided to start his own company, the Eastman Dry Plate and Film Company, to make dry plates to sell to photographers. Shortly after, George Eastman designed and began the manufacture of a smaller, lighter weight camera that could use the roll film. The result was the first Kodak camera. People who bought and used the camera got their pictures developed and printed by sending the entire camera back to the Eastman Company along with a $10 processing fee. They received back their printed pictures and their camera were loaded with a new 100 exposure roll of film, ready to use again. By 1900, Eastman was interested in making photography a hobby for almost anyone. He introduced a camera costing $1, the Brownie, which was targeted at children. His earlier camera cost around $15 and was therefore out of the reach of many ordinary people. By 1901, the Brownie's price had dropped to 25 cents. Owners no longer had to send the entire camera to the manufacturer for processing. They bought and loaded the film, took the pictures, and only needed to send the film to the company to get processed. He continued to keep on exploring photography to help even more people exchange photos and encounter new experiences with photography. After he developed and sold the Brownie, he created many other cameras, including the Pocket Kodak, marketed in 1897, a folding Kodak in 1898, non-curling film in 1903, and color film in 1928. Eastman Film enabled Thomas Edison to create his motion pictures. He developed unbreakable glass lenses for gas masks and a special camera for taking pictures from planes during World War I. Although Eastman's Kodak company was declared a monopoly, Eastman was not the average corporate industrialist. Eastman firmly believed that employees should always be treated fairly and that they should be given more than just good wages. The way of thinking was far ahead of management people of his era. Eastman was one of the first industrialists to embrace and implement the concept of employee profit sharing in the United States. In 1919, he added what is now known as stock options, and later his company developed a welfare plan that included a retirement annuity, life insurance, and a disability benefit for all employees. Eastman was a pioneer in many fields of industrial relations and introduced first aid and medical departments, recreational facilities, safety committees, canteens for staff, and suggestion schemes with cash payments for good ideas. Determined to give away his money, Eastman tried to anonymously donate over $2 million to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. When he continued to make larger donations, his identity could no longer be concealed. By 1920, he had donated $11 million to the institute. By 1924, he decided to donate the bulk of his fortune with a donation valued at $30 million to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the University of Rochester, and the Hampton and Tuskegee Institutes. As George Eastman once said, "If a man has wealth, he has to make a choice, because there is the money heaping up. He can keep it together in a bunch and then leave it for others to administer after he is dead. Or he can get it into action and have fun while he is still alive. I prefer getting it into action and adapting it to human needs and making the plan work." After his donations to education, Eastman made sure his money could be used for leisure purposes as well. Eastman once said, "What you do in your working hours determines what you have. What you do with your leisure hours determines what you are." In 1919, Eastman sponsored a project to create a concert hall and a school of music in Rochester. That school, the Eastman School of Music and the Eastman Rochester Symphony Orchestra, became world famous. Overall, it is estimated that Eastman's philanthropic donations exceeded $100 million. He was a modest, unassuming man, an inventor, a marketer, a global visionary, a philanthropist, and a champion of inclusion. Eastman's inventions changed photography, making photography something the masses could enjoy. By 1930, Eastman had begun to experience poor health. He suffered from a degenerative spinal disorder, which may have been spinal stenosis. His beloved mother had suffered the same kind of disease and was confined to a wheelchair during the 2 final years of her life. He remembered how painful her last 2 years were and did not want the same end for himself. On March 14, 1932, he put his affairs in order and wrote a final note that read, "My work is done. Why wait?" and shot himself in the heart with his hunting rifle. If George Eastman had never dared to explore photography, then it might have had been decades before we had the chance to encounter new experiences and exchange photos.